Hey guys, February 11th, 23. Just picked up this brand new property to hunt here in southern Michigan. It's a small 8-acre parcel, but it's also right down the road from my house. Super excited, got a lot of potential, buds up to some swamp. And I've also got access to do all the habitat management that I'd like to do with food plots and travel corridors, bedding areas, and yeah, screening. Just super pumped for this opportunity, especially with it being 5 minutes down the road from the house. Definitely look forward to bringing you guys along for this property as we manipulate the habitat and make it the best we can. Found some old trails that the property owner has had put through here at different times, and a lot of down timber that has came through this year, which I was given permission to basically do what I want on the property for the most part, you know, as long as I run it by them first. And I'm gonna have to get out here with the chainsaw, maybe even the tractor, get some of this trail open back up, not only just for me but for the deer. There's some spots I noticed the deer aren't even going through there anymore, so I'm gonna get a little video footage. I'm back here up along the property line, and it buds up against a really nice swamp. There's some hunting pressure from the neighbors, which is normal here in southern Michigan. And just going to show you guys a little bit of the property today, and then as we go through the process of doing some habitat management on this piece, you can start to see as things come together and all the changes that we make and follow through along the hunting season, and just see what kind of progress we get from the actual hunting side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around and show you a little bit of this property. We're going to walk through on some of the trails, show you some of the sign, and just what we've got to work with here on this piece. It's not a very big piece, but it's 5 minutes from the house, and I'm beyond thrilled to have the opportunity to work on it and hunt it. So stick with us. So here we're kind of walking through one of these overgrown trails. It's been over a year since the homeowner's been out here on this trail. We're back here on the edge of the swamp, and this is basically the best time to get out here because of the how wet it is. You can actually kind of see there's some water that's thawing. It's in the mid 40s here today. Did a little shed hunting while I was out here, didn't happen to see any. But right here is right up along the property line. If you look back in the swamp, the neighbor there's got a elevated box blind. It's pretty old looking. I'm not sure if they're still using it or not. It's maybe 100 yards off the property line, 80 to 100 I would guess. But just bring you guys through here and kind of show you. I've already picked a couple spots out for some food plots, and definitely got to work on some of my travel corridors, like I said, for me and the deer. And then you can see the house is just right there. The homeowner's actually running the chainsaw today. But and then they got a pond right behind the house that will actually work as a pinch to ensure the deer are going around the edge of that pond, which I think will help me out some when it comes to placing a food plot. Now this little opening right here, I want to get a food plot in here. This will be one of your quote-unquote poor man food plots, where I'm only going to need a backpack sprayer, maybe a weed eater, and a chainsaw. And depending on how the year goes, we might do a prescribed burn right here in this little area just to help with the thatch. Some of it's a little wet down in here right now. I don't anticipate that will be as wet when we would come in here to plant in August. I may put an elevated box blind right there where I can come in from the yard actually and pop right up into a box blind around the pond. Like I said, then pinch these deer down through here, and then right back behind here is where you've got a beautiful swamp, and it looks to be a pretty good sized swamp. I imagine we'll get some pretty good deer movement through here. According to the deer sign that we're seeing, there's a pretty good population. I know they see quite a few deer out here, and he had a couple nice bucks that were running around here during the season in the fall of 22. But yeah, we'll come in here and we'll start spraying this probably in the end of May with 2,4-D and a Roundup. And we'll probably spray this in May, and then again maybe in the end of June, and then again maybe hit it with just straight Roundup depending on how much thatch we've got, and just do one more spraying at the end of July and come in here the first 2 weeks of August and do a planting on top of the bare soil. We won't be able to get any equipment in here. It's too wet and just too swampy back in here. So this is all going to be by hand. And we'll get probably a mixture of brassicas with turnips and radishes, and probably do a fall clover in here also. Also going to look at opening up some of this canopy around here just to get some more sunlight in here to ensure a good growth. So stick with us as we continue the progress on this property. Just doing the initial walkthrough today, and pretty excited about the prospects for this year. Here's another one of the trails that was already put in here. You just can barely tell it now. There's so much trees that have fallen down in storms we've had the last year or so, and definitely need to come in here and open these up, because there's a good spot right back in here for a stand. The homeowner left a ladder stand, a 20-foot ladder stand up right there. He's seen some good deer activity out of there in the past and harvested some deer, and I want to definitely come in here and enhance this travel corridor to help not only myself get in and out, but the deer. And I'd like to make 2 of them parallel to each other, because they go back and forth across that road right there. It's in front of me. They go back and forth there a lot. There's a great big ag field across the road, and they use that ag field a lot in the nighttime, and they will come out of here right after dark to go across the road right after dark, and then in the mornings they'll be coming back across the road, you know, right before dark, or right before daylight, or right after daylight, he said. So he has watched them all the way up here by the road in daylight before, in the morning hunts specifically. So we need to come through here and take some of the smaller trees and do some hinge cutting and open up these trails a little better. He's got some pretty good canopy up above us here. Might see about taking a few select bigger trees out around here to open up some sunlight, so we can make sure these hinge cuts stay alive, because if they don't have enough sunlight, they will not stay alive. Okay, now we're outside of the woods here up against the road. You might hear a little road noise while I'm standing here talking. This is the layout of the front here. There's the driveway, goes up to the house. You got the pond that's located back there behind the chicken coop. And the way this property sets up, there is a pretty good sized basically set aside little grass field here. I say pretty good size. It's maybe half an acre or so. And thinking about putting some screening up along the edge of that woods to help the deer not be able to see out, and then people not be able to see in. May also plant a small little plot out here on the edge of this, out here in this property, maybe even up against the edge of this guy's mound. The neighbor has a mound put up over there for some privacy, and he's got a pond, so he just put all the dirt over there. But might put a small little food plot out here just to try and give the deer something to eat as they make their way across the road, and hopefully get the deer back in the woods where I would be hunting in earlier daylight, so that they can come out and hit this right before dark, and then munch on this a little bit on the way out before they go across the road after dark. So may end up doing a switchgrass screen, which will make 2 to 3 years before you have an adequate screen, or may do a annual screening with some Egyptian weed, or use a blend from Northwoods Whitetail. They have an HD screen blend that I've heard a lot of good things about. So just showing you a little bit of this property here, give you guys an idea of what we're working with.